Hello and welcome to another episode of The Issues with Nate Markham. This one I want to talk about an idea I'm calling provoke public deliberation. I'm going to play a clip from UC Berkeley professor Robert Reich. In this one, he discusses the idea that people should be provoked into participating in the democratic process. Now, I don't think people should just be left alone. I don't think people should be left to their own devices. And I also don't think they should be left to pull themselves up by the bootstraps. People are inextricably interconnected in a social framework that they can't easily control. You have to use the little bit of power that you do have in order to impact the world around you. And a good way to do that is civic discussion. Robert Reich thinks people have a duty to enact their civic virtue as a part of their democratic citizenship. We should inject ourselves into the lives of others in order to make a positive impact. You can help change the quality of the world you live in, but you have to participate in the democratic process, which is based in considering the ideas of other people. Okay, let's jump into this clip from Professor Reich.
People are invited here as professors and as speakers who have different views and that are provocative and provoke. Even if people don't like to be provoked, they should be provoked. In other words, we can all do our parts in all sorts of ways to change the dialogue, to change the temperature, to change the quality of discourse in America.
Professor Reich goes on to describe Hamilton and Madison's concept of civic virtue. And civic virtue needs to be relied on in a similar way that we rely on the Constitution. People act as checks and balances to one another. Civic virtue is paramount among the ideas of history. Socrates, Aristotle, Cicero, Locke and Mill, Rawls, and Habermas, they all consider civic virtue to be a cornerstone of a successful society. Now I have the second half of the clip from Robert Reich.
We need people who evince and practice civic virtue. What did they mean by civic virtue? They did not mean simply being nice to each other. No. They meant people who are willing, as part of their sense of citizenship, to engage with others in public deliberation. And they use the term deliberation.
Public deliberation is more than free speech. It's more than voting. It's talking to people. It's listening and understanding. You should be willing to consider the perspective of people that you disagree with as being valid. And you should use discussion to carefully examine ideas and information being used in the decision-making process. Don't leave it to the politicians. Do it personally. Don't avoid conflict. Just make sure it doesn't interfere with your civility. All right, thank you for watching. If you have any ideas or things you'd like to discuss with me, ideas for future videos, leave it in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.